Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lifestyle TV channel, and we have a great show tonight. We have special guest Carl himself and my co-host. Hi, Carl,
Hello.
and we have great guest with us, Mr. Daniel, and he's a podcaster on supernaturals, and we'll hear from him directly. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you, Doctor?
Welcome to
How
our
are
show.
you?
Thank you. So, tell us about yourself and tell us about your podcast, sir.
Well, professionally, what I do for a living is I'm a spirit medium. I don't call myself psychic because as soon as you call yourself psychic, people start walking up to you and say, "Hey, what am I thinking now?" And I don't, I don't do audition for people. Uh, so yeah, I'm a spirit medium. I see spirit 24/7. Never goes away. I'm able to communicate with them, see them, hear them, feel them, smell them. And what I do is I do. Angel readings and I cross spirit over into the light. But
Mhm.
angel readings are me connecting with my spirit guides, which happen to be what we would refer to as archangels. And they speak to me and they touch me in different ways for different yes and no answers. Uh, and since doing that, we incorporated that into a podcast that we do. It's called Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson, me, and the very first season was more or less talking about spirit and what have you, and all that goes into it, spirit realms, everything. And then every season since then, we've been having guest hosts come on, and I've had a tarot card reader on. I had a hypnotist. I had uh, a woman who talks about crystals, and another one who talks about oils. And I had a guy on just recently who was talking about UFOs and aliens. So we try to cover a little bit of everything in our podcast so that no one is left out.
Very nice, very, very informative. And we don't have many guests who are so specialists in this field. So I'm so super excited about learning all that. And, for audience sake, you can also share with us how did you start with this?
With spirit or the podcast itself?
Both.
Oh, well, from spirit. Oh boy, that went back to when I was around 3 or 4 years old, and I lived in a town in a state called New Jersey with my mom and dad and two brothers and my sister. And there was a battlefield in that town, and it had a little hospital in it. And this is where the Hessians fought um, the United States, and it wasn't the United States yet. And so there was a lot of there was a lot of war that went on there, and all the homes in that area were all haunted. So I was seeing things at a very young age. There was one story I love to tell people when my brothers and I were watching TV downstairs one day. My sister, this was back in the 1970s, she had a record player. And to play records, you had to pick the record up and it held it, and then you hit a little switch and it drops it down and would play records. While we would be watching TV and her record player would be upstairs, it would turn on by itself. But that's not the tricky part. The tricky part was whatever was there playing records would switch records, meaning it would take records off the record player and put other records on.
Wow.
So yeah, there was a few. The stereo would turn on and off by itself. Lights would turn on and off by themselves. Ashtrays or glasses would go across the room. I had a friend come to the house one time, and he wanted to experience something for himself. And people always say that until something happens. And same thing with him. We were in my kitchen eating some sandwiches, and then the stereo just turned on and he ran out of the door and never came back. So all through my life, I've seen those types of things. There was a time when I was in my 20s I was with a girlfriend one time watching TV, and she was at the end of the bed, and I was at the by the headboard watching a movie, and something big and white, about 3 feet thick and about 4 feet long, just kind of snaked its way out of the closet of the bedroom and all the way across the room, and then it just disappeared. And then my girlfriend looked at me and she's like, "Did you just see that?" I said, "Yeah, I did." And we got out of there real quick. So I've seen all kinds of shadows peering into my room. I was laying down. I came home. I used to be a drummer in a rock band. I came home and I laid down in bed, and then something laid down next to me 3 or 4 times. And then that fifth time, when I went to roll over, whatever was there picked up the blanket and brought it up to the ceiling and shook it over top of me, and then it dropped it on top of me. And then after that, Doc, I slept on the couch for 2 years because I was so scared. But I was seeing things all the way up into my 30s, 40s, and right before I turned 50 years old. And then my wife went away on a vacation, and she was gone for 2 weeks. And that whole entire 2 weeks, I was seeing everything in this home right here that I'm in now that you can imagine was scary. Anything you've ever seen in some crazy movie, I was seeing it for 2 weeks. I saw 7-foot skeletons walking around the house. I saw green and red mist pouring out of the walls. I saw skeletons floating out of the wall. I saw little skull heads floating out of the walls, and they all had red eyes and fangs on them. I saw these big cloudy, misty, thick clouds come out of the corner of the room. One was red, one was blue, one was green, one was yellow, one was orange, one was purple. One was blue with black stripes, green with black stripes, red with black. It was crazy stuff, just all kinds of crazy stuff. And so when my wife came home, she told me about her adventures, and then I told her about mine. And at that point, she thought maybe because I'm diabetic, she thought maybe there was something wrong with my medication. Maybe it was some type of psychosis. But 3 days after being back, she was seeing some of the same things. So we started reaching out to people, and I got a hold of a paranormal group, and the paranormal group came to the house. And you think that's going to be fun or neat or something like that, but when they showed up to the house in their little van with the insignia on the side, all I could think was I didn't want to be this kind of famous, because people are just they're gonna think something really spooky is going on in the house next to them. Unknowingly to them, it is, and it still is to this day, and they don't know about that. So because I don't tell them that part. So yeah, they came to the house, and they got all kinds of evidence. One time they used this little thing called the spirit box, and they had me pretend I was sleeping in the bedroom. And when they came into the bedroom, they turned it on. This was all done at nighttime. And when they turned it on, it started spitting out words. It said Wendy, Helen, Paul, Michael. It said special, light, energy, unique. One time it said the word road, like a street. It said road. And when it did that, a car went vroom, right past my house. And I was like, this is crazy. And then they started asking the questions. And one of the questions I thought was very interesting was, they asked it, are you here to harm Daniel? And then it said, no, we are not here to harm Daniel. We love Daniel. We love Daniel's energy. We love his light. Daniel is the light. And when it said, I'm the light, I didn't know what the heck that meant. They got so much information by being in my home. At the end of it, they even took pictures of me walking around the home. And when they did, every picture they had of me, I had these 15 or 20 light orbs completely surrounding my whole body. Except when they took pictures of everybody else, there was nothing, which was strange. So at the end of it, I said, well, you got a lot of evidence, correct? And they said, well, that's the issue. And I said, what do you mean? They said, well, we can only make that box spit out a word or two. And I said, okay, but it was really talking. They said, yeah, that's the problem, Mr. Jackson. I said, what do you mean? He says, it never says sentences. And I was like, okay. But they said they were going to come back in a couple of weeks and do a big reveal. And 6 weeks went by and they never came back. I got a hold of them finally, and they said they weren't coming back. The leader of the team said the team broke up because they were too afraid to come back into my house. Not that it was anything scary, but it was just too much for them, I guess. So I ended up reaching out. I tried to get a priest to come here to do an exorcism, but they didn't want to do that. They said they don't do that anymore. Not that it matters, because it wouldn't work anyway. But now that I know what I know, but I had reached out to 5 different mediums, and every one of them told me the same story, and none of them knew each other. And one of them told me that Spirit's coming to me because they don't see, when Spirit sees you, all they see is your body frame, and then they see your light within you. and that's your soul that's inside of you, because that's what they are, and that's what you are. That's what you're eventually going to become. And so they see that, but with me, they don't see that. All they see is a super bright white light. I look like a beacon of light, she said. I don't look like a human person. I just look like light to them. So that's why they're coming to me. And yeah, she said, they think that I'm the light into heaven, and that's why they come
Wow.
to me. So, and that's why so many. That's why I see so many. When I see spirit, when I say I see spirit, I'm not just talking about one or two. I see so many spirit in a day, in a night. It's like being in a room with 1,000 people, except nobody leaves and more people just keep coming in. But I don't see just people either. I see dogs and cats and horses and cows and fish. I see everything. And yeah, so they believe that I'm the light into heaven, and that's why they come to me. But fortunately for them, I found out the truth of what's really going on by talking, by eventually being able to talk to my spirit guides and talk to other spirit. And the spirit are absolutely correct. So, by what my spirit guides say, what we would refer to as archangels, they say that I am the light into heaven, the light that shines to be here. For spirit to be guided into heaven has to be in a physical body for two reasons. One, uh, because it has to shine all the time, and two, because sometimes they have to be guided in. So I try to guide them in. Sometimes they ask me questions. I need answers. I get it from my spirit guide. They give me answers. I give them answers. And because they do that for spirit and for me, I can ask them any question that I want to, and they can answer that question. So I can ask questions for other people, and that's what I do. So
I have a question to
yeah,
ask.
of course you do.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Sorry, but I have a hard. Okay, so most of my life, I've had this fear that I'm not gonna make it into heaven. And I haven't. I mean, I don't normally tell that to people publicly, but that's one of my fears. And
Let it go.
even yeah,
Yeah, because you know why?
why is that?
Because going into heaven is going to be your choice. That's it. When you pass away, the way that it's going to happen for you is the way that it happens for everybody. You basically fall asleep, because everybody does, because it doesn't make a difference if you fall off the top of a building, get hit by a car, um, uh, get a debilitating disease, even if you get COVID, even if you get suicide, any of that stuff. All it is that is a facilitation in order for your body to pass away. No matter what, there are two rules in this world. As long as you comprehend these rules and pay attention to these rules, you're gonna appreciate your life a little bit better. And rule
Okay.
number one is people die every day. And rule number two is you can't change rule number one. No matter what, you're going to die. No one lives to be 150 years old. By that time, you don't want to be 150 years old because it probably hurts to pee. But anyway, what's going to happen at that point is your body is basically like everyone else. It falls asleep. You're going to wake up. You're going to stand up. You're going to look down at your body and go, I guess I don't need that anymore. You're going to take a step to the left. You're going to look to the right hand side. And when you do, a light is going to turn on. That's your personal light for you. And all you have to do is either walk in or don't. And that's it. There's no asking for forgiveness from God. There's none of that I'm going to be judged stuff, because that's not real. Because the people who want to tell you how to live your life the way they want you to live it and give them 10% are the ones who are trying to tell you that, and that's not real. So because they don't know. And so when it's time for you to cross over, all you have to do is want to go in. And when you do see that light, do yourself a favor. Go in. You know why? Because you've already been there.
Okay.
You've been there many, many times. If you are here now, if anybody is here now and you go outside and look at everybody who else is in the world, they have all been to heaven and they all had to come back for one simple reason, because we're here to learn lessons and fulfill a purpose. The purpose that your soul is supposed to fulfill, but can only do in a physical body. In order to do that purpose, it has to be in this physical body to fulfill this physical purpose. And the reason you keep coming back is because we just don't do it enough.
I had a buddy of mine actually passed some time ago. And you probably already know that his name was Devin, and
Yeah, he's
he
already crossed over.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but no, but yeah, no, I've always known that he's been there for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
because he's still here for you. Did you know that?
I didn't.
He's actually. Let me ask them a quick question. So I hope this will make sense for you. So
Yeah.
we all have something that's called spirit guides, and
Hmm.
spirit guides are people who have crossed over, who have fulfilled their purpose, and then they like to come back in this form of spirit to help us make decisions and try to help us through life the best we can. We just have to learn to listen to them and follow through with them. But your
Yeah.
friend Devin has done that. So what that means is he crossed over and went to heaven. And instead of staying in heaven, because heaven's 100,000 times better than you can ever imagine it is,
Yeah.
he came back here to be what's called the spirit guide for you. In other words, he skipped heaven to come here and be back here with you to help you with your life.
I see.
All you have to do is reach out and talk to him, just like you would talk to anybody else. And when you do that, he will show you signs of him actually being here. You'll know it's. He'll show you something that's going to remind you of him that fast, and he's going to let you know he's still here.
You know, thank you for that. No, and there's also somebody else, and I'm hoping I'm not taking up all the time, Doctor.
Oh no, no, I
Uh,
love it. I love it.
so there's another person. It was my great grandfather.
Mm.
uh, I was named after him, and I've always felt that he's been like my guardian angel. I don't know if you can talk on that a little bit.
Yeah, what do you want to know about him? He's also here.
He's in a big part of my life,
Still is.
and
Again,
he is.
another. He's another spirit guide for you as well.
Because I mean, I never got to know him. I've always known that
You
he was
didn't get to
there.
know him this time around, but you've known him previous. Do you want to? You want to know how many times you've been here, Carl?
How many times I've been here? I don't understand what you mean by here.
Meaning, so you've had to come back over and over and over again. So
Yeah.
you keep coming back. They call it reincarnation. That's
Okay.
just the name for it. You keep coming back over and over and over again. You come into a new body, and each time you come into a body, you're just here to fulfill a purpose. And we've all been here a bunch of times. You've been here 27 times, so that means you're on life number 27, meaning you've had 26 other moms and dads, 26 other different sets of grandparents, 26 other sets of brothers and sisters, 26 other or different.
Is that a bad thing?
No, that's actually an average number. Uh, that's an average number. Most of the people that I do readings for, or when they ask those types of questions,
Yeah.
they are usually here an average between 26 and 29 times.
Okay.
The highest I've ever met, I met someone who's been here 43 times.
Wow.
But that's for another person. That's somebody else. My soul is a little bit different because it just keeps coming back into a new body, just a different version of me
Yeah.
every time. I don't remember a lot of the lives, but I remember. I know some of them. I know about some of them. But mine keeps coming back here. It's been here over 23,000 times. It doesn't go home. It just keeps coming back over and over and over again to be here to shine, to show spirit where to go home. But it will go to home this time. This will be the last time.
Daniel, what about me?
What about him?
A little bit less, Doctor. You've been here 26 times.
Oh, okay, great. So, so
But
also,
um, you're not. So as I'm asking, I'm actually being touched on my face. So I'm asking and getting answers that fast. It feels like a tear running down my face for no, and then I get touches across my forehead and on top of my head for yes answers. This is your last time.
I-
Meaning you have already fulfilled your purpose already. So what I need you to do is when it is your time to go, and it's not yet. You got plenty of time. Just want to let you know you're not dying tomorrow. That's for sure. Or
How much?
anytime,
How much? Do you know how much?
anytime soon.
Do you know how much time I have?
Um, you actually have you actually have 43 years left, Carl.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
That's a
sorry.
long time, Carl.
uh, Doc,
You better,
you've been
you
here
better be
26
doing more
times.
episodes for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you got to get it. But don't worry, Carl. You're actually on your way to fulfilling your purpose, so you're okay. But Doc, when it's time for you to go, when you get done, and again, when you step up out of your body and you cross over into that light, what's going to happen at that point is you're going to go to like a holding place. It's not actually heaven. No one goes there first for two reasons. Because one, 130,000 people die every day, and you have to wait your turn. And two, it's not judgment. They're just going to go over your life with you and say, hey, well, you did this, and you made this decision, and it affected one or two, but actually affected 10 or 12 people, and you go, oh, and as a soul, when you become a soul and you cross over, you let go of all your pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish, all that stuff, and you just go back to be a very loving, beautiful white light soul. So when you're there, you souls like to do good things, and when you get there and they say, oh well, it affected this people, that's not going to matter with you, because at the end of it, they're going to ask you, okay? Because if you hadn't fulfilled your purpose, they would just tell you you would have to come back again. They're not going to tell you this time. They're going to ask you if you want to go back. And
Oh,
your answer is going to be what?
Me or him?
both.
Doc, what are you going to tell them?
No.
Absolutely. You want to tell them no, because you don't want to have to come back. Because the reason if you would have to come back, the next time that you would come back would be at the point that when you passed away, you won't come back for another 80 years after that.
Wow.
And if you have to come back at that point, 80 years after that, I'm just here to tell you, this is not going to be a nice place.
Hey,
Computers will
Daniel.
be gone,
Oh, I'm sorry.
phones will be gone, cars will be gone. It'll all be gone. It'll be like living in a war-torn world. You don't want to be here for that.
Oh,
Hey, Daniel, I was gonna ask you,
Sure.
how am I gonna die?
Um,
Because I've always thought I was gonna be killed or something, but probably not.
no.
yeah, you're gonna be killed by one thing:
What?
death.
But how am I gonna? But how am I gonna die though?
Uh, yeah. I mean, do you really want to know?
I do want to.
Okay. You're actually going to die in your sleep.
So I'm the sleep doctor. I'm gonna tell you to use CPAP.
Yeah.
Okay. So Daniel, how about me?
You're only just going to die of one thing, Doc: old age.
Old age. Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's not good. I will.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but I mean,
He's not old. I mean, he's young. I mean, he's still young. You still have time, doctor. You're doing okay. You're fine.
yeah,
You're
but
good.
you're going to live to be very old. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Do you want to know exactly how old?
yeah.
93.
Wow, that is really old.
Do you
Well,
know how?
Carl,
Do you,
that is
yeah.
same as will be both same age.
You said 93 for me as well,
Yeah.
right?
I said you have 43 more years to go.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so I'm close. I'm just above 52. So 50 and 40, 93. So you're
Yeah,
right. See, Carl, so our friendship is gonna last long.
that's
Yes.
right.
Yes. So do
Oh,
you know what age I'm gonna die at? I'm sorry, doctor. You know what age I'll be?
Same age as him.
I
Old.
don't. I know, but what age though? Like, will I be 50? Will I be 60?
Oh, how old are you now?
I'm 35.
Oh, yeah,
35.
43 more years after that. So that's going to make you,
close. Close to president's age.
that'll be 88.
Okay. Okay. All right. I got
Again,
time.
You don't want to be past that.
All
You don't
right,
want to live to 100.
all right, all right.
Yeah, but you'll be okay. But it's going to be one of those things where you're just going to go to sleep, and you will wake up, but you're not going to wake up in your body. You're just going to wake up out of your body.
Okay.
Okay,
You
Daniel,
will
also
you
you
will
were
see your
saying,
grandfather. Exactly, you're actually going to see your grandfather standing right there. When you see your grandfather just the same way that you see me, as clear as you see me now,
Mhm.
you're going to know that you're checking out.
oh,
Okay.
wow.
But it's going to be okay because he's going to let you know everything's okay. You're just going to stand up. And the best part about it for both of you, when you cross over into the light and then
Mhm.
you go back home because that's home because this isn't home. We're just here
Yeah.
visiting more or less. When you
Yeah.
get there, you go back to being 30 years old.
And my gra-
It's more or less of a feeling, not such an age, but
and
a
my
feeling.
grandfather has a deep love for me. I assume. Uh,
Well, he must because he's still here.
yeah. But okay. Sorry, doctor. I'm taking up all
Oh
the.
no,
Yeah,
no,
I'm,
no. I love that conversation.
yeah,
Also,
there's no grudges held or anything. When they cross over, people always feel that, oh, maybe my mother and I got in an argument. Maybe she's holding a grudge against me. That's unless they stay here earthbound, that would
yeah.
be the case. But if they cross over, no, they don't. They don't hold any grudges. They're not mad at anybody. It's all about love. It's all about understanding. It's all about compassion.
Okay.
okay, Daniel, I have a question about heaven. So,
Sure.
tell me, in heaven, who would you find? Would you find, because everybody would be, let's say you'll be in certain age. Who would
Who?
you be along with your brothers, sisters, or would you be among your kids, or would you be, so everybody has brother, sister, but also they could be father and they could be, so they could have their own family too. So
I'm
which
gonna
part would
I'm
you
gonna
be?
give you one answer that's going to answer the whole question.
Mhm,
When you get to heaven, you don't just run into the 200 or 300 people that you knew here.
mhm,
When you get there, you know everybody. And when I say everybody, I mean there's 9 billion people here on the face of this earth now.
mhm,
There's that many that are home. And when you get home, you know every single one of them because that's where you come from because you come from one big family. You come from the soul family. And that's where you are created. That's where you are actually born. You just come into this world, into what we have here, this body, this more or less it's a meat suit, it's a vessel in order for you to do what you're supposed to do here. But when you get back there, I mean, and then the part about that is you've been here, you're on number 26, Doc. So you've had 25 other names, including the one you had now, but not just that. So when you get home, people are going to call you by those names because there are certain people who have been in your life and
mhm.
all your other previous lives who you've had in contact with, and maybe they got to stay home. And then when you go back home, they will call you by that name they knew here, or they will also call you by your actual real name, which is your soul name. And your soul name, we can't pronounce our soul name because your soul name is actually more of a vibrational, more of a sound type of thing. So, and they will call you by that as well. And you will know it's you as soon as you and when you hear it, you don't hear it like you hear me talking to you. You do, but you don't because you see, even if I have my hands closed, you still hear my voice, and that's the way you're going to hear it there because it's going to come into your mind because that's the way that they talk there. They don't use voice boxes there because they don't have one anymore. Because when you get there, you don't sleep, you don't eat, you don't breathe, you don't do any of that, but you do communicate with each other, and it's all a mental telepathy type of thing and
Okay.
they're gonna talk to you, and you're gonna
Le-
know who you are.
And no, but what about your parents in
Oh,
this?
everybody,
No, but
everyone who crosses over,
uh,
who remains there, you will see every one of them.
no. So let's say, for example, I have 26 incarnations or 26 times, right? And there is certain part in your life that you had previous 25 parents or whichever. And can you select if you wanna hang out with those?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's no like certain rule that you have to be with every single one of them. You can stay with whoever you want to. So even if there was one here in life number 12, say,
Yeah.
and you had an argument with somebody here that lasted the whole lifetime, when you get home, you will forgive that person because you've again become that loving soul at that point, and you will forgive them, and everything will be all fine and dandy. But does that mean that you have to spend time with them? No, absolutely not. You can spend time with anyone you want to there as long as you want to, because when you are there, there's no space and time there as well. So you don't wait for 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon to do something. You just go, because when you get there, you just are there. It's just the difference. And you're just going, 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 going. You don't go to sleep. You don't take breaks. You're not taking a lunch break. You're not doing any of that stuff, because only all that stuff has to do with your body. When you cross over and get there, you become a pure energy at that point, and then you're just going the whole time. You just are there.
And what about is there also concept of, I know there's heaven, what about, is there concept of hell too or no?
No. That's brought to you by religion, and they bring that concept for one reason, so they can have control and power over everyone. That's the
Okay.
only reason they do it. Yeah, they. I'm able to see in both places. I
Uh-huh.
can see into the light because I'm that light, and I can also see and cross. So I cross spirit over. That's my main ability that I have, and I cross them over, and I'm able to see there. Uh, I see negative energies there. They the thing about energy, the thing about all pure energies, even positive and or negative, uh,
Hmm.
they communicate through their minds with each other. Meaning, so they can hear everything that everyone else is saying. They can also hear everything we feel, we say, and everything that's going through our mind. So if one of those spirit does come through into this realm, and they do all the time, because negative energies feed off of negative energies, meaning they feed off of negative people. And what they come do is they come through and they can listen to what's going on in your mind. And because they are negative energies, because they're energies at that point, they can manipulate themselves to look a certain way. So if you're thinking about a devil or a demon, they can pick up on that, and then they can manipulate themselves to look like that in order to do one thing, to scare the heck out of you, which is in turn is going to you're going to be scared, which is going to produce negative energy again, and that's what they feed off of. So they will do that in order to make you feel fear, so that they can feed off of that energy, and or possibly if they can keep doing it, or maybe just give you a little bit more negative energy to turn you into a negative person, and you stay that way, then these things will stay around you and hang around you. And we see these types of people around in the world all the time. They're very negative people. They like to gossip about everybody and talk about, or they just like to treat other people horribly. And they 9 times out of 10, I can see that as well. I could be standing with somebody. All I have to do is stand next to them and close my eyes, and I've done it before. And I see red energies around people, and those red energies, they don't like me whatsoever, because they know what I do. They know I cross spirit over, and I do this for the right reasons. And but yeah, they can make they look at me sometimes, and they say nasty things to me, and they give me dirty looks, and but I just tell them, yeah, go away, whatever, you don't bother me, because they don't.
So, so
They
then
just,
I want to also ask you, what about cemetery? Are there souls there returning, or is just a flash there? All
uh, let me ask you a question. Do you hang out in cemeteries all day long?
well,
Oh
I just
yeah, yeah, sorry.
Why
Yeah.
would you?
huh?
Because there's nothing there. Because when you die, when you pass away and you rise up out of your body, and you either go to the one here earthbound, or you go to the one on the other side in the light, you're not at a cemetery anymore. The only thing that's at a cemetery are a box of bones and a bunch of rocks. I call them rocks, but what that people call them is a headstone. But it's just a rock with your name on it, and that rock has a little dash in the middle. And I tell people all the time, don't let that little dash be the marker of who you were. You be the marker. Let everybody know who you were for when you were here, and not by some dash on a rock. But no, some spirit will hang out there. But here's the thing: spirit, souls, ghosts, whatever you want to call them, they are around everybody all the time. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, you wake up in the morning, you do your daily routine, you get ready for work, you go to work, you come home, you have some dinner, you watch some TV, you go to sleep, and you wake up and do it all over again. Spirit is around you all the time.
Okay. Wow.
So you can go to a store and there's spirit there. You don't have to go to a cemetery or go to a broken down old jail or anything like or a really bad haunted house. They're just haunted house because just there's there's a lot of spirit who do want to be seen, but
Yeah.
most spirit don't want to be seen. They're standing around us. I mean, Carl's got two women standing right behind him, and he didn't even know it, and they're not making any sound because they don't want to be heard. Because
Yeah.
not everybody does. When you walk into a store and you're around a whole bunch of people and they're all talking, do you talk to everybody? No. Why? Because we don't always want to be heard all the time. So they don't.
So Daniel, do you see any spirits around me here in my room?
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to take a look. I got to close my eyes for this one. Who's that? Is that okay? Yeah, that's there's a man standing next to you.
Oh,
There's a man standing next to you. He's on your left hand side. He's got long blonde hair. He's got a mustache and a beard. Kind of looks like mine, but it's darker.
mhm,
Um, he's 38 years old.
mhm.
He keeps walking behind you though. He keeps walking behind you, and he's like peering out from behind your left shoulder. So your left shoulder.
Okay. So he's hanging.
He's related to you.
How? 38?
Is he from this one? No. Is he from this
Maybe
one?
48.
Um, yeah, it says he's related to you.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, he keeps. It's weird to say because he stands behind you and he keeps poking his head out like that, and I only see one eye now. He now knows that I see him, and he keeps poking his head out like he's hiding behind you because he doesn't want me to see him.
Wow. Very nice. Okay. Well, thank you for that great session. So, any final thoughts you have for us? Or Carl, you have any final question? Carl, you muted yourself.
I'm sorry about that, Doctor. Hey, is my grandfather in my bedroom right now? I'm just curious.
He's everywhere you go.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So even if you get into a car with someone and you
Yeah.
drive 3 hours away, he hasn't moved because there's no space and time.
Okay.
He's always next to you, no matter where you go,
Okay.
everywhere. Like I
Alright.
said, so when it's time for you to pass away, you're actually going to see him.
That's
But he at that point, at that moment, he's going to explain to you that everything's going to be okay, and you're just going to fall asleep, and then you're just going to wake back up again. You'll step out of your body, you'll go with him,
you know.
and then that'll be it.
So what I'm hearing you say is I don't need to worry anymore because I'm fulfilling my life's purpose
Oh,
on
absolutely.
on this earth.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
as you probably know, I'm already a singer and musician, and I'm bringing people to God, and because of that, I'm gonna be rewarded. At least I hope so. Anyways.
Oh, yeah.
No, you're going to be rewarded for just being the person who you are,
Okay.
because that's who you are, because you're that type of person, and you have finally gotten it done.
All right.
So you'll get to go home. The only thing is when you get home,
Yeah.
no one sees God. No one does. God is, if you look up in the sky and you see everything else that's up in the sky and it's going on, he
Yeah.
has that to take care of. You will see Jesus because I see him every day, see him all the time.
Okay.
When I close my eyes, there he is. You will see what we call archangels. They do not look like men with wings. They don't have shields. They don't have swords. They're not fighting a battle in heaven.
Okay.
They don't even look like people. They look very different. But yeah, you will see them walking around, and then you will just see everybody else. And
All right.
when you
All right.
when you see it, you're just going to be like, "Oh my gosh!"
All right. All right.
And they're
Well.
all going to come up to you, and like I said, they're going to come up to you. Everyone's going to come up to you, and you think seeing 9 billion people is going to take a long time to say something to everybody, but
Yeah.
again, at that point, there's no time there, so you're just going, "Hello, hello, hello, hello,
Uh,
hello," and you just keep on going. Yeah, and you never get thirsty again.
Wow. Well,
I
thank
like
you.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Danny, for coming. And where people can check out your podcast and your services. I see that you have a lot of services.
If they want to find me to do a reading or something like that, they can find me at www.spiritmediumdaniel.com. It's one long word, Spirit Medium Daniel. Or they can come and watch the podcast. That's at www.beyond-the-veil.com.
Mhm.
Or they can find me Spirit Medium Daniel on Facebook, Spirit Medium Daniel on uh, YouTube. I'm all over the place. I get around.
Okay, very nice, very nice. And Carl, do you have any final question for him?
No, I want to thank you for your time. I hope I didn't take up too much time, Doctor. No, thank you. You answered all my questions. At least I understand now. There's somebody watching over me, my grandfather, and then
Oh, they're always watching over you.
also Devin as well. Before you go, is there a message from Devin that you might want to give me, or that he might have?
Yeah, he says he misses you too.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you for
You
your
know what the
time.
cool part's going to be?
What's that?
Eventually, when you get home and go home to heaven, both of you, when you get there, you know who
Hmm?
else you're going to run into there?
Who's that?
Me.
You? You?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we're going to turn around and look at that, and we're going to go, I can't believe we don't have to be there no more. Yay! And we're
Yay.
going to do a bunch of fun stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
Okay.
Thank you for your time, Daniel.
absolutely.
Okay, take care. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Okay.
guys.
Danny.
Be
It was
Bye,
a
good.
guys.
pleasure. Come back again. I really enjoyed your conversation.
Oh,
We
yeah.
should have
Anytime you
more.
want me to come back, just let me know. I would gladly come back.
Okay, take
All
care. So,
right.
Carl,
Thank
we
you.
need to have him back. I need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey. Hey. Before you go, Daniel. Was I the one that got a hold of you on Messenger?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So I will send you a message and then figure out when we can have you back.
Okay.
Okay,
No problem. Cool. Cool beans.
okay, thank
All right.
you.
Thank
Thank
you. Bye bye.
All
Bye.
right. Be good. Don't do any
Take,
stupid shit.
All right.
take, take care. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, doctor. Be good.